What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Triskelyon's brand new album, Artificial Insanity. That is one of the hardest to pronounce band names I have ever seen. So we got a fun little Canadian thrash band here. Oftentimes with these reviews, I will spend a lot of time going into painstaking detail trying to describe what a band sounds like. I might say they sound like Dragon Force, but with Sabaton's singer, and the keyboards are totally Sonata Arctica. This band sounds like Vicious Rumors, and that's kind of the end of it. It's obviously in the thrash family, but with a bit more melody than something like Metallica. The vocals are higher. It just sounds so much more like Vicious Rumors than something like Slayer. I don't know how to explain it. Production-wise, this album is old school. It's really nice that the guitars are not scooped to hell. It sounds like something from the early 90s. I was thinking almost like Victims of Deception by Heathen, except those guitars are scooped to hell, so maybe like the first Iced Earth album. Point being, old school. As I said previously, there's a lot of melody in a lot of the guitar parts, while still remaining thrash. It's nice that it's not just chugging all the time. The vocals are very good, particularly for thrash, but generally for metal. Good vocals. It's rare that thrash vocalists stand out. I mean, Belladonna's probably the only thrash vocalist to make it into a standard top 20 metal singers list, right? So this is a nice change of pace. All right, let's get into some songs. Is Hope Still Alive? I love the drumming paired with the guitar for the verses. It's energetic without angering you. When I think of a song like Disposable Heroes by Metallica, it's great. I love it, but it makes me angry. This did not do that, but had the same level of energy. One Blood. The second half of this was really cool and unexpected, and it was like an Elvati intro track. Not thrash at all, very melodic, very musical, completely unexpected. Thrash metal often has melodic parts interspersed. Think of like Orion. But this is something altogether new for the genre. Celtic Creatures. This song was really fun, and this one's more folky in a way. I'm thinking of like Heidevolk. It doesn't sound like Winter Sun or Ensiferum, but, a heavier Heidevolk style folk band. With a couple of references to melodic thrash and the band being Canadian, of course I need to bring up Annihilator here. There are some Annihilator style parts on this album. I think Annihilator is more melodic, but still, this album proves to be less predictable than most of the genre. Why Burn? I'm reminded of the now defunct band Warbeast here in a very good way. That's a band that more people should emulate. For those unaware, that was Bruce Corbett's band. He used to sing for Rigor Mortis back in the 80s, and they killed it. They were amazing live. Unfortunately, Bruce did pass away a couple years ago, but the memory lives on. I'm actually not sure whether this band would have cited them as an influence, but it's a good thing. Lastly, It Doesn't Really Matter. Was this a single that was just tacked on the album, like how Savage's Christmas Eve Sarajevo wound up on the first TSO album? Seriously, listen, it's a carbon copy. Make no mistake, this is a great track, very well produced, great vocals, but it sounds nothing like the rest of the album. There's a female vocalist. It's so much more melodic, much more sleek production. In a way, this might have been the most accessible track, I don't mean that in a bad way, of any of them, but it's just jarring coming after the rest of the album. Either way, definitely fun little effort here. I always appreciate when bands sonically sound like old school stuff. The new Judas Priest single, Panic Attack, just dropped. I think it's great, but sometimes I wish they took a production style more similar to this album. I could argue that all day, so let's just say good night and rock on.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. the only podcast you crank up to 11.